you know how front offices approach matters, and that it's always like, let's stick with plan A until plan B, somebody walks through the door with an offer that we can't refuse. But it does not even seem like it looks like the Texans are even refusing to acknowledge there's a door B right now. What do you think is going on with this, Louis?
Yeah, I think really when you think about this, I think Nick Caserio's, he's looking at this going, look, this is my first time being a GM. I have the final say. Do I really want to be known as the guy who, at the first crack of being a GM, after knocking on the door so many different times and for different reasons not being able to, actually finish the deal, do I want to be known as the guy who traded Deshaun Watson? That's the first thing that he did. He traded one of the most dynamic quarterbacks that, quite honestly, when you look at him play for play, stat for stat, he's right up there with some of the greats that are playing this game right now, namely the guy who everybody considers to be the standard, Patrick Mahomes. Do you want to be known as that guy? And I think, but once you get past that, when you look at the long game, Rich, I think, and I've said this numerous different times, if it got to a point where I could get to a face-to-face with Deshaun, and he was telling me this, and I really did, for all intents and purposes, believe him when he said, I'm not playing for you because this isn't even about you. This isn't my problem isn't with you. Mm-hmm. My problem goes way above you. Then I would really start saying, hey, look, it's time for us to start picking up the phone because I need to build this football team. I need to do what's in the best interest of this team, both now and in the future. We need the picks. We need the capital. And there's some people out there right now that are just flat out desperate for this guy. And we might be able to take them straight to the cleaners. You have to start considering that. And I think right now, honest to God, if I was in that chair, I would be considering it. I really would.
I mean, you have to, right? I mean, because it does appear that he's communicated everything that you say you would need to hear sitting in that chair. And I was mentioning before on the show, and you may have heard, certainly through our friend Greeny as well. I suffer from the same affliction as Greeny with the Jets, and this has nothing to do with that. If you're in that position where you've got a player saying this to your face, wouldn't you want not one but two teams that have top 3 draft choices and multiple first rounders that they would be potentially willing to give, but because they have them, and also 23-year-old quarterbacks that can also be flipped to you in the trade, and even better, to play them off each other. They're division rivals. Sure. I mean, this is the mother load that you'd want to have created. Now, the only issue that you would maybe make it wish for you to be better is that it would be in another conference, so you don't have to see this kid once every 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems to be perfect.
There's a couple scenarios that are like that. I mean, really, even though Carolina's not in the division.
Yes, correct.
There's still another one where, okay, would you be willing to survive? Do you think you could survive short term with a guy like Teddy Bridgewater, plus all the draft capital that you could get, plus whatever other player that they'd be willing to give you off of that roster, considering that right now they're basically telling you, just look at what we have and tell us what you want. I mean, that's really what teams are doing right now in terms of they're making an attempt to see if this is really something that they can consummate. And I think this too, Rich, the longer this goes, and I've had a couple of people tell me this, we can't, meaning from the team side, from the potential acquiring team side, we can't wait forever. We can't deal in hypotheticals and wishing that and hoping that eventually either he or Russell comes available. The longer this goes, the more we have to go to our plan B, C, and D, especially in the quarterback situation. And that's just and at some point in time we have to close off the door to this. We can't revisit it. We can't go into the draft. Let's just say this drags all the way up to the draft, or even past the draft. They draft the quarterback, and then all of a sudden Houston goes, hey, you know what? Yeah, we are going to trade him. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, you're not going to trade for Deshaun Watson if you just drafted a quarterback in the first round or just gave someone a contract that locks you into some things from a salary cap planning perspective and then just blow it all up because then they decide. So I think it's also important for Houston to time this up right, too. Because they could clean. I'm just telling you, they could, and you know this. I mean, this isn't hard to figure out. You could clean up in this situation.
Clean up.
And for Nick, look, if he's having these conversations with Cal McNair right now, look, Nick. If I'm Nick, I'm sitting back in my chair going, I didn't create this.
Yeah.
I didn't
really? You say that to the new boss, Louis?
You know what? You know what? I'm saying. You know what? I guess I'm saying that to myself.
Right.
I'm saying, hey, look. I'm saying at one point, look, yeah, I'm sure, we're in this together. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, look, I'm trying to build this football team. I'd love to build this football team with about 4 extra first and seconds, plus a quarterback who I think I can win with, and some nice cap space going forward. I'd like that situation. I wouldn't want to take the short-term hit of being the guy that traded Deshaun Watson. But in my mind, what would give me some, well, besides the fact that I signed, I don't know, what did Nick sign, a 5-6-year deal? I mean, but along with that security, I'd be thinking, I'm trying to build this going forward. So either way, I think I'm good. And I just think that they have to start looking along those lines and thinking along those lines. And I really would. And I'm not just saying it because I'm not in that chair. I'm saying it because I really do believe if I felt that Deshaun was dug in like he is, and he's given nobody any reason to think otherwise.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.